Imagine walking into a dark, ancient temple. The air is cold, and statues of warriors and creatures surround you. But wait, they aren't just statues. These were real people, turned to stone by one of the most feared monsters in Greek mythology, Medusa. Medusa wasn't always a terrifying creature with snakes for hair. A long time ago, she was a beautiful woman. Her hair was said to shine like gold, and people admired her beauty. But Medusa's life took a sharp turn when she caught the attention of the sea god Poseidon. He wanted her for himself, and that's where trouble began. Medusa lived in a temple dedicated to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. Poseidon, who was Athena's rival, entered the temple and disrespected it by pursuing Medusa there. This made Athena furious, not at Poseidon, but at Medusa. She decided to punish Medusa by cursing her. From that day on, Medusa's beautiful hair turned into writhing, hissing snakes, and anyone who looked directly at her would turn to stone. After the curse, Medusa fled to a faraway island. She became one of the Gorgons, 3 sisters who were so terrifying that even their names made people shiver. But Medusa was the only one who wasn't immortal. This would become a big problem for her later. Now, let's fast forward to the story of Perseus, a young hero sent on an impossible mission to bring back Medusa's head. Why? Because a king wanted to get rid of Perseus and marry his mother. Pretty sneaky, right? Armed with gifts from the gods, a shiny bronze shield from Athena, winged sandals from Hermes, and a magical sword, Perseus set off to find Medusa. But here's the tricky part. If he looked at her directly, he'd turn to stone. So, Perseus came up with a clever plan. He used the shiny surface of his shield as a mirror to see Medusa without actually looking at her. Sneaky and smart. When Perseus found Medusa, she was asleep. Carefully, he crept closer, keeping his eyes on her reflection. Then, with one swift strike of his sword, he cut off her head. From Medusa's neck sprang 2 magical creatures, Pegasus, the flying horse, and Chrysaor, a golden warrior. But Medusa's story doesn't end there. Even after her death, her head retained its power to turn people to stone. Perseus used it as a weapon to defeat his enemies and eventually gave it to Athena, who placed it on her shield as a symbol of protection. So, was Medusa a monster, or was she a victim of the gods' cruel punishments? Her story has been told and retold for thousands of years, showing us how myths often blur the lines between heroes and villains. What do you think?